What is going on, everybody? This is Critic Wrestling, the first episode that I'm going to be uploading. I'm going to upload this and, get my editing done and everything. I just want to start by saying I have another YouTube channel called Neener Mode, and I decided I wanted to switch over and just get in the habit of wrestling videos, and specifically not necessarily like me being the critic, but me having my own opinion about it, and that's why I'm going to call it Critic Wrestling. And I'm basically going to go over the key points of WWE, NXT, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, etc. But basically, we're going to be talking about all those things, and I'm going to try to cover as much as possible. What's the latest news in the wrestling world? What's the hottest thing to talk about? Who's the best wrestler monthly. We're going to be doing the best wrestler of the month, moment of the month, show of the month, things like that. And I got my list here, and I'm going to go over today 4 topics. I'm going to usually try to do 5, 6, 7 topics, but today we're going to do 4 just because the last topic I have at hand is WrestleMania. And I was actually going to plan to start this channel a little bit later, but with WrestleMania, I've decided that now is a good time to start it. WrestleMania is done. Okay, we can talk about Mania and move on, start the new year. And the reason I wanted to wait a little longer is because we are actually in the process of moving. And so once I get set into my new place and I can have my basically podcast studio set up, we'll be golden. So this is a temporary spot. I just wanted to get an upload in so we can talk about some things, because there's a lot of big things going on in wrestling right now, starting with Kylie Rae joining Impact Wrestling. Now, I had high hopes for her in AEW. I've had high hopes for her entire career, just seeing the growth of her anyway. Yes, this is a loss to AEW. Is it one that will affect them greatly? No. They have a great talent. I think they definitely need to up their women's division. But as far as the men's goes, and I think Cody Rhodes and, a lot of people know what they have to do to help this company grow. And that's one thing that they need to do, is get the women's division. But I have no doubt that they will work on that and eventually get that going. So Kylie Rae joins Impact Wrestling. She is probably the hottest woman wrestler other than Tessa Blanchard on that roster, if you would ask me. Maybe my decision would be a little bit different if Scarlett decided to stay in Impact Wrestling, but Scarlett is currently signed to NXT right now, which was no surprise. I've been saying this since the beginning. I've been saying Scarlett's not going to AEW. I've seen so many posts, AEW and everything else. She's got a high market name in the wrestling world. Now, if they bring her over to NXT, that would be the best move for her, because she can do a lot more from that point on. Because then she has her foot in the door. She's in WWE. Now she can either stay. If she's not getting booked right, she can stay for a bit, build up that reputation, build up that name. And once you leave, your market just from your name is so much bigger. And that will help her get back into Impact if she ever wants to. That'll help her get into AEW possibly. But we'll see what happens. I don't see her being the type of person to be completely booked right, even though I think she should. Scarlett's a great wrestler. But Kylie Rae is one of the top women in Impact Wrestling. Huge pickup for Impact. Props to you guys. I would have done the same thing if I was in your position and if I had the opportunity. And it sounds like Kylie Rae is super ecstatic, more ecstatic than even in AEW, and she actually signed a long-term contract. So we'll see how the booking goes. I think I've disagreed a lot with Impact's booking, but I think this is going to be one that's going to be huge, because Tessa Blanchard's really carried herself to the men's division. So I think this is for a way for them to boost that women's division and to bring someone new, fresh, ready to wrestle in the women's division in Impact. And then number 2, we got topic 2. We're going to have the AEW bracket. So this is for the TNT Championship belt that they've just announced a few days ago. I personally, so we got Shawn Spears, Cody. Then we got Darby versus Sammy Guevara. Then we got Kip Sabian versus Dustin Rhodes. Then we got Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana. Let's start with the left side of things with Shawn Spears and Cody Rhodes. See, this is probably one of the hardest ones on here, but I'm going to have to go with Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes has had a lot of momentum. He's one of the top guys, if not the best guy in All Elite Wrestling right now. I got my money on Cody. Then this one, I take that back. This one is the hardest. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara. I want to say Sammy, but I'm going with Darby just because of how much and how in-depth he's got over with the crowd right now. Darby Allin, he's just proven himself time and time again. That size doesn't matter. He's going in here and he's proving that he can compete with the best of them, and he can do it better than they can, even with the size that he's at. And the coffin drop, just everything that this man does, he pours his heart and soul into this company. And I have a lot of respect for Darby Allin and the way he was able to get over with the crowd. Kip Sabian versus Dustin Rhodes. This one I think is a clear victory for Dustin. Dustin Rhodes has got a lot of momentum himself. He's striving, he's doing what he can, and I think Dustin Rhodes is going to pull through. Then we got Lance Archer and Colt Cabana. I actually want to say Colt Cabana, and I'm going to probably be cheering for him in this match, but seeing the way Lance Archer has just been dominating now in AEW with, just the build up to him and everything else, I think that there's no other way to have him get over than to win this match, sadly, because I'd hate to see Colt Cabana, get put under, because I actually think he's a pretty great wrestler. But anyway, Lance Archer over Colt Cabana. Then we got Darby Allin versus Cody and Dustin versus Lance Archer. I think this is going to be a clear win for Lance Archer over Dustin Rhodes. I mean, yeah, he's got something, but just not the way Lance has got something going for him. Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes, both one of the top guys in AEW wrestling, and I am going to have to put my money on Darby. And I think Cody would agree that, it's Darby's moment and that he should get the victory. I don't see any way that Cody would get put over him, but who knows? All Elite Wrestling's always about surprises, but I definitely see Darby Allin pulling off the victory. And so in the final round, we got Darby and Lance Archer, and I think Darby Allin, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to defeat Lance Archer, and he's going to get over with the crowd. It's going to be a big moment, huge step further for Darby Allin in this All Elite Wrestling by getting a huge win over Lance Archer. That's my pick, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think for the AEW bracket and where you're at. What you agree on with, my choices, what you disagree, what you think, if you think Shawn Spears is going to beat Cody or etc. So let me know in the comments. Then we also have to talk about Brian Cage. Now, the reason that I decided to talk about Brian Cage is because we know now that Brian Cage has been in talks with All Elite Wrestling. He didn't sign with Impact. Now, there was two things that I said. Obviously, the top one is All Elite Wrestling. But I said for Brian Cage, it's either going to be AEW or it's going to be WWE signing to NXT. Now, if he signs to NXT, that would be huge, not only for him and his name, but that would be huge for WWE because of the name that Brian Cage already brings. And I know Hunter's already all over that. I could put a pretty good guess on it that he's made a few phone calls to see, if he's able to come to terms with Brian Cage, because even though Brian Cage is injured right now, 4 months, you sign this guy, 4 months down the road, that is going to be the best thing that you could have done with the free agency market right now. Screw going with free agent like Austin Aries, or Wade Barrett. You want someone like Brian Cage. This guy's got it all. He's got the size, the look, the talent. He's everything that a company would want for a star wrestler. So me personally, it's a toss-up between the All Elite Wrestling and NXT, but I'm going to have to say NXT. I'm going to say that Brian Cage is going to be in talks with WWE, and he's going to sign to NXT just because the reputation he's already got. I think he wants to build onto his legacy by being the premier company and going that route. maybe he proves me wrong, maybe not. But that's exactly how I think it's going to play out as soon as he comes back from injury. Especially because if you look at NXT, so much talent there, but they've lost a lot of the top guys in the last, like a lot of the big talent the last year and a half. So this could really help that roster grow even more than it already is by signing such a big name like him, because they would really love to have that, especially with the Monday night or Wednesday night wars with AEW. Last but not least, we got Wrestlemania, guys. Now, I just want to say that obviously this is probably going to go down as one of the worst WrestleManias. Nothing that they did or the booking or whatever, just for the simple fact that it was so awkward with not having any crowd due to the coronavirus. This has just been an insane time period, a historic time period in our lifetimes. And I've never seen anything, well, other than, Raw, SmackDown, but WrestleMania-wise, guys, we've never seen anything like this. So this was a historic moment, maybe not in a good way, but maybe not in a bad way either, being a historic moment. I was very curious to this WrestleMania to see how they were going to do it, how it was going to play out. And they met my standards for what I thought they were able to do with this WrestleMania. But it didn't meet my WrestleMania standards that I would hold each and every year if the coronavirus didn't affect things. So, with that being said, great job by WWE. The Undertaker bringing back the American Badass had an amazing, movie type theme with AJ Styles. But if you really think of the beauty of wrestling, and you've seen, wrestling as being an athlete and an actor, and these guys really proved their acting abilities in this match. Undertaker gets the win. Personally, I thought AJ Styles could have used the win more. I think Undertaker's built that legacy to this point where he can't top what he's already done. He's basically here, and there isn't no more further up. I think Styles, he's coming toward the end of his career. This would have been a nice victory for him to add on to the list of achievements he's had in his career, because Styles has been one of the top guys in the wrestling world for quite some time. So, either way, I was happy with the victory. Like I said, I would have went with AJ Styles, but I'm not disappointed it wasn't AJ Styles. Then we had Charlotte Flair winning the championship, Becky Lynch retaining, which was a huge surprise to me. Bayley retaining, another huge surprise to me. Brock Lesnar losing his WWE Championship to Drew McIntyre. It's Drew's time. Let's see what Drew McIntyre can do with that title. Braun Strowman, probably one of the highlights of my show, of the show for me, because Strowman is long overdue. He's probably about 2 years overdue for that title. I'm just glad he finally was able to win it, just to say he could do it, because it was so depressing not seeing Strowman be able to win a championship belt. So he finally got what he deserved. The last but not least, the Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Now, a lot of people are saying it was great. A lot of people are saying it was not that great at all. And you have a right to that opinion. But at the end of the day, if you look at wrestling, and this was an opportunity for them to reflect on both of their, amazing careers. If you really look at it and what the message was in that video, in that skit, or whatever you want to call it, this was definitely not a match, but it was a good feel moment to be able to reflect on probably the most greatest achievements in wrestling career in WWE history, with John Cena reflecting on his career. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, reflecting on the improvements going from Husky Harris to, Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family, into the Fiend that he is now. It's just been amazing careers for these guys. I was happy that we got to reflect on it, and they made something so spectacular out of it. Something that was so out of the box and so out of the ordinary. I give them a lot of props for coming up with that. The writer that did that really shocked a lot of people, and for that, I give them a lot of thumbs up. So that's all we have today, guys. Go to my Instagram not mine, but I'm gonna have one for the page. So go to that Instagram, make sure you follow it, because I am going to be posting weekly posts, if not daily, once every other day, sometimes a couple days in a row, depending on how much news there is to cover. And I'm at least gonna try to post a video once a week. If it's a really bad week and there's not a lot to cover, I might skip a week. But for the most part, I'm going to try to do weekly uploads, guys. I just need you to like, comment, let me know what to talk about. That helps me expand my thought on what's going on in wrestling. If there's anything I missed, please let me know. But yeah, peace.